They say those that don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. I agreed with this sentiment once upon a time, but lately this feels more and more untrue. I was raised fairly closed off from the rest of the world, in a middle-class suburban neighborhood with a blindingly ignorant sense of security. Nothing could really happen to me here, and I applied that lens over my whole world. I was taught by the adults in my life that racism and hate were things of the past. Sure, there were a couple of bad apples out there, but as a society, we've moved past subjection of peoples. As I grew older and gained more agency, I came to know more people with different walks of life, and as I listened to their struggles, I came to realize my view of the world was a warped one. Hate and prejudice was still very much alive in our society. I think this year has made that blazingly obvious. Between the rise in hate crimes, the kids in cages at the border, literal Nazis in the streets, and the thousands of lives unnecessarily lost from the pandemic, this year has left me speechless. I feel anger beyond anger, and sadness beyond sadness for those suffering out there. So much so that my body just can't sustain it. It shuts down, leaves me feeling numb, hopeless, powerless. I found myself pondering the point of anything. Why document atrocities? Why try to educate people on the horrors that society is capable of? It isn't changing anything. But then I brought up the idea with my wife, and she reminded me that suffering can bring hope. She reminded me that many holidays in the Jewish faith stem from previous atrocities. By remembering the horrors that happened in the past, one can derive hope for the future. Kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel. As I look back at 2020, all the suffering, sadness, pain it brought on so many people, I try to remind myself that it can have a purpose. It can be a glimmer of hope for someone facing hardships in the future. That light in the darkness. That torch burning bright for future generations.